The past year has turned business culture upside down. COVID-19 has had a huge impact on our lives, both personally and professionally.
2020 will be forever remembered as a critical year.
Kay Formanek is an expert on business culture.
With the loss of jobs and the fact that people have had to go to a virtual environment, there was a lot of stress and isolation. Many of our minorities have actually been most hard hit.
Next to the pandemic, 2020 was also the year of Black Lives Matter. All over the world, people stood up for a more diverse and inclusive society.
With the deaths of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, I truly saw for the first time in my lifetime.
Risha Grant has been educating companies on diversity for over 25 years.
People come together, and by people, I mean everybody, all races come together, even different countries, and finally admit that we have a huge problem, and that problem is systemic racism. And I've seen companies not just check a box anymore, but really, really want to dive into how we fix this. So it's been monumental.
We are working hard to ensure gender equality at all levels in our organization through our Talent to the Top initiative.
LeasePlan's Chani Burks is not about checking boxes.
We are also educating our employees on unconscious gender, sexual orientation, and racial bias, as well as striving for equal benefits for our LGBTQ employees, regardless the country they're living in.
If you look at the past, it was really taboo to talk about religion, race, politics at work. That's totally shifted. You know, most of the companies that I deal with now, they want to have these difficult conversations. They want to create these policies.
Diversity can only thrive in an inclusive environment, a workplace where all people feel safe and supported. An important aspect of inclusion is to make people feel connected to their company and to each other.
COVID-19 and the virtual way of working is demanding even more of a inclusiveness of our leaders.
Mike Lightfoot faced the challenge of keeping LeasePlan employees connected during the pandemic.
We realized there were physical risks to our people from being locked in their houses all day. We were worried about the mental health risks, and that's why we set up the NextGen LeasePlan platform. The NextGen LeasePlan community is a virtual platform connecting 8,000 lease planners worldwide, the idea of which is simply to keep everyone together and aligned and informed throughout the crisis. Every year, LeasePlan runs an engagement survey, and the results this year were higher than ever in a pandemic year. The results went up around 10%, with particularly high scores in areas such as faith in leadership, clarity about organizational objectives, and also how connected people feel to LeasePlan. We learned a lot from this about the importance of internal communication and culture building. It's really something that we want to invest in and treasure as we go forward.
Do not go back to your original model. Go back to a model that has now been tested and use that new model to benefit the diversity that you wish to have in your organization.
Never judge people for what they have, but what they are willing to give. And if we are able to understand each other a little bit more, I think we will live in a better place.
2020 has enabled us to experiment with new ways of working, and companies are putting their words into action in terms of diversity and inclusion. One thing is for sure, business culture will never be the same again.